What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today is a good day. It's nearly patch day. It's almost patch day, but it's patch note release day. The devs have confirmed that the July patch will be released on Wednesday, the 2nd of August. This Wednesday, a couple of days from now. The day today currently is the 31st of July. It's the Monday, and the team have released the patch notes, and I'm going to quickly try and summarize the main points as fast as possible for you guys to avoid having to skim through yourselves. There's a lot here, and I'm super excited for this as always. Patch notes is always quite a big topic in the AoE3 community. A lot of people have their own opinions. I have mine. Top players have their own. Noob players have theirs. But I'm going to try and be balanced and give an overall opinion, view on what I think in this new patch is going to be good. So, tuck yourself in, get a drink, let's get into it. So, the first thing which caught my eye, which is absolutely incredible, look at this, online status for friends. This is absolutely huge, and I'm so glad they've put this at the highest point of the patch list. Just imagine you've gone onto your friends list, get into the game, and you want to play some team games with some people you've played with online before and your mates with. You actually know who is in the game ready to play with you. You probably know if they're in the game, and you know if they're actually in game, like it was back in the base game Age of Empires 3. So it's going to be super useful for players of all levels, especially the casual players who just wants to have a game with their mates, just hop online, ask who's around, host a lobby. It's going to reignite the team aspects of the quick search ladder. Just imagine going online and knowing that your whole squad is there ready to go. And more excitingly, I think it's going to really kick start pro level gameplay lobbies. I'm sure they'll put some spectators on for that, but just imagine being Kaiser Klein, logging in, knowing that your mate Kevin Italian's playing, you know your mate Hazard's playing, you know who is around to ask for a game, and it just cuts down waiting time for games for the top level players. They can just go straight into the next game. They see who's online, who's ready to go, and I'm so happy that they finally listened to the community. And I know it's not the balance team who have the skills and abilities to add that. It's the developer team. I think it's Tantalus in another company, but finally having actual infrastructure changes to this game so far its release is so good for the game. I'm so happy to see that. Everything else would be much more brief than that, but I have to spend a lot of time on that. That is so fantastic to see. The unique explorer bonuses will come on to that in a second. Customizations, reworks for Royal Guard will come on to that in a bit as well, and some enhanced civilizations and revolutions. I haven't actually quite seen that, but we'll come on to that one. New map, Knights Mediterranean, looks like 0 TP. Royal houses, all of them are House of Hanover. That's the one with the fireworks, the drummers, the Tonsonkov Hussars. You got the water, the whales, a lot of mines on the plateau. Does it look to be a standard map? No, it does not look to be a standard map. It does look to be quite a high resource. I would not want to see this one on the quick search ladder. You got a gold mine right next to the coast. You're thinking Portuguese town centre, 2 in-base mines, lots of hunts. Like 4 of them might be too generous. We'll have to see when it comes out. Stability game performance, terrain rendering will appear corrupted graphics cards. Kevin Italian had massive issues with that, so that's fixed for him hopefully. Could be instantly trained if auto train action was suspended on the first update. Don't quite know what that is there. Tech change states could cause a desync. Oh, that's issue. That's a big one for the treaty enjoyers. The amount of times you age up to the next stage and your game goes, it's a really frustrating. But that's fixed hopefully. Fixed crash where custom mod textures assigned to some specific model as well. That doesn't really happen in regular gameplays. That should be fine. Added online indicators to the friends list. They're just going to say it again and again. The friends list. Visually highlight the attack move button to increase awareness for its function. I think the phrase is that to schedule an attack move, first you need to click you want to make an attack move, and then click the ground in the direction you want to attack move. You don't have to click a person directly. So a lot of people are saying attack move doesn't work. I've not actually had too much issues with attack move. I know when I've got it wrong, but I think some people kind of frame up on that one. Map now contain compass points. Fair enough. Garrison icons are shown for the garrison units, include garrison units in the selected unit count. Oh, wow. So maybe... okay, when a unit is selected, it contains garrison units, and icons are showed for the garrison units include the garrison units in the selected unit count. I thought that's the same. You have a list on the side next to your town so you can see who's in it. But is this for the opponent? That would be a bit risky if it was. Deck builder button is now disabled when random civ is selected in the civ picker UI. Okay, all right, I see what this is. There's not an exploit. You pick random civ. The game picks the civ for you. But if you go into the deck builder, you see what the civ you are going to get. So you can kind of stick or twist at that point. But yeah, no, pretty good here. A few of them. Spellings, mistranslations, fixing strings, outdated tooltips. Woku Pirates, that's described as an anti-cavalry unit. I think it is, unless it is just a general all-round high HP units with, base attack. Advanced Frontier Defensive and Fantastic Mining Card icons now use a split border to highlight their secondary events. Okay, yes, okay. So they're going to carry on with the color scheme. I thought it was going to be a little bit more crazy than that. Lenape technologies now use unique icons. Doesn't really matter because Lenape are not in any random ranked map. They're only in custom maps, unknown. They are incredibly strong. They're not a balanced native civilization, so they will need changes if they're coming into rank play. 15-minute treaty, very nice for the custom guys. Treaty technology in Civ Day now probably applied only when treaty game rules are active. Oh, is there specific treaty game balance coming out? Oh, have to find out. Papal Guard treasure and rewards to deflect and suffer damage from treasure guardians whenever they were in combat. I think I saw something with the Papal Guard as well. If you got this treasure in Age 1, it does -1 siege damage. Like, it is incapable of sieging, which is actually quite an interesting one. Quite funny to see. Last one. Fixed an issue that prevented mounted riflemen from attacking trample mode. You would never want to do that with the mounted rifleman anyway, so I don't really know why. I suppose a bug is a bug, but that's just not going to be useful. Somali Adrian engineers technology erroneously set the build limit for the fixed gun. Oh, I've had that before actually. I've had a game where it says your fixed gun limit. I'm like, no, I can make as many as I like within my population limit, but that's an interesting one. So that's glad that's been sorted out. Right, okay. Oh, Papal Guard using pistol attack in cover mode without requiring Papal Arsenal. That's yeah, that is a bug. That is you just imagine getting your Papal Guards playing Italy and having super guard units, deflectability, and broken pistol attack. Graphics, cool. Unique to Dutch Skirmishes Age 2. Okay, I'm sure they look amazing. Don't need that. Battleships now use a different cosmetic when upgraded through a unique battleship card. So I think that's when you send in like a your own civilization's battleship upgrade, which was added in recent patches. Unique guard cosmetic for the Pavitiers, but they don't really need a guard up because they are a unique unit in their own sense. But that's always nice. Fix an issue with Indian fishing boat displaying anachronistic car tires. I think that's just fixing a craft from old RE game. I think that's pretty much it there. Roman Senator and Hero cosmetic now speaks Latin. That's nice, but you can see a few more fixes coming in. Mods larger than a gigabyte would fail to install. That's been fixed, and I think that's about it. So onto the civilization balance. I think there's a build menu ordering houses ahead of community plazas, so not really much of a balance. Tribute penalty. Increasing the penalty for tributing resources to 20% in Age 1 from 12%. So basically that punishes slinging strategies, which says it gets successfully reduced by 2% each age. So even tributing resources to your teammates in the second and third age is going to cost you a lot more resources. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. That does seem quite excessive. Like, I'm happy that the Age 1 is in there, but that seems a bit more. Okay, that's all fine. Range infantry. That had the damage against heavy cavalry and shock infantry reduced. Now have their damage multipliers increased again by 20%. Wow. The biggest balance change in the last patches were skirmishers doing so much less damage to cavalry, hand cavalry. That's now being reverted, so we're back to the status quo, back to how the balance was originally designated and laid out. Like, the thing is, it was when you had units only doing like 0.6 multiplier versus like a Spahi or a Crassier, is you're just never going to kill. Like, you could have 30 skirmishers on the field getting cleaned up by two Crassiers. It's so punishing if you mismicro your fight so that you don't kill all their heavy cavalry. So I'm kind of glad that's been sorted out because it was a bit too much. You just felt it. It was so awkward. I think we're all used to it now. But when it came out, it was like the first thing was, and that was never talked about. That was never agreed. That was never kind of laid out. It just happened, and we were like, oh wow. Stealth, move a bit faster. Warships, turn rate's fine. Treasure Guardians, just as HP and damage primarily African and European Treasure Guardians, most noticeably by reduction. Okay, this is interesting. If they're reducing Treasure Guardians, well, I'm hoping they kind of reduce XP as well, because it's really nice to have so much XP when you're killing all these Treasure Guardians. But when you're on a European map, my god, like, treasures are so much more important. The treasures are better, the XP is better, the density is higher quite often, and you could pick a German player. You could have enough XP to send in a second Age 1 shipment. You might not want to, but there's the reason why European maps always feel good is actually the treasures on it. It kind of helps give you so much more momentum in your game. Think about the Dutch, happy to get gold treasures for villagers, food for age up, wood for your bank. Anything you get, so much better. And there's so many treasures like that in the European maps, and especially the XP ones. That's why I give a nod to Germany there. African field, a bit more quickly, that's all fine. Native scouts can now be trained, but as all the natives from the town centre native embassy has a bonus versus mercenaries. Okay, so they've actually given away a kind of an anti-mercenary unit for the civilizations which do not have it. I'm glad that they've tidied this up. The Royal Guard upgrades, I think it used to be split, but I think they've now agreed for clarity and ease of use for the community and players playing the game. Royal Guard cavalry upgrades are at one price. Royal Guard infantry are another. Royal Guard artillery. Don't really know the difference why the Royal Guard infantry cavalry are different, considering their base price was the same. But essentially, that's your Carabinier Reuters, your Gendarme Cuirassiers, your Zapka Uhlans, your Jeanette Dragoons, or whatever they're called, Legionarios now. So that's your guard upgrade, but you're paying a premium for the extra 10% combat, which is super worth it if you've got at least 5-10 units. You really get that back quickly. The Spring Guards and the Basilisks upgraded to 400 wood, 400 food, probably worth it. They are having Royal Guard artillery is so strong. Spy, cheaper, prioritization, bit unsure about that. That shouldn't really be a thing in this game. Helps, micro. So Explorer changes here. They've added each European Explorer a little bit of a bonus if they've not got one already. So Portuguese Spanish unchanged. Most of them are very minor. I do tip my hat to the French constructs trading posts faster and 1 range damage. That seems very strong. Dutch be able to train envoys, so 50 food envoys from your explorer in the middle of your opponent's base. Constant production of high HP tanks with the great coats and the blunderbuss. So that could be actually really strong offensively there for Dutch and defensively, but you can train it from the town centre. And the British 1 range and 2 line of sight. It just makes scouting a bit better, but that's the ideas there. Horse artilleries deploy faster. Levy spearmen bowmen can train in batches of 5. That's the influence Minutemen from Africa. They're not really that good, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Warrior priests can no longer be trained in batches from the Aethos Monastery and American Citadels. Ooh. I think the Aethos Monastery is actually the Abans, and you could train in a batch of 5 and just instantly got 5 really fast gold gatherers, and that is quite strong, that is. Flip the strength of the wild boars and beasts. Greatly reduces the number of beast treasures. Okay, so beasts become very strong and boars are much weaker. So yeah, the boars were always insanely strong and great for crackshotting, but the Chinese monk, Japanese monk, Indian monk, they could not take that boar treasure guarding 15 food. I mean, it does give 35 food and 15 XP, but you just the boars, they had melee resist, range resist, siege resist, 350 HP. I don't know, it's crazy. Berber camels, negative multipliers versus light infantry, as in that skirmishes. Got to remember, Berber camels, think of them as melee dragoon units. They are light range cavalry. They're not heavy cavalry. They counter heavy cavalry. They counter actually all cavalry, including dragoons, but they take a lot of damage from Abus guns, skirmishers, archers. So to kind of balance that cycle out, they have less damage versus infantry skirmishers, which I think is fine. But they do low attack anyway, and even versus musketeers and heavy infantry, you do not want to be charging Berber camels in there. So a very specialist unit. Conquistadors nerf them a little bit. Drummer population slot, a bit more of a treaty balance change, but it's fine. Oh, Mayor Castles, American Citadels. I wonder what the American Citadel was referring to earlier. Not that. They don't feel that oppressive from the Mayan native posts. It's all fine. Looks like javeliners, units with kind of throwing javelins, either javelin riders, Gasquenias. They'll probably get now classed as foot archers because of the wooden shaft and not actual gunpowder. Makes sense. Club been trained to patches at 10. That's why. Why? Doesn't even matter. Okay. Chevaliers, these are the the native version of the Swedish Hackapolite. German have access to them from the card as well. Basically, better versus goons, higher melee attack versus heavy cavalry as well, and less siege. Basically, bringing them more standardized. They're actually good units. I can recommend using them. It's fine. Stampede and trample mode again. Dragoon unit, don't use that. Musketeers, minus 25% less versus villagers. I think that's a great change. I think 3 Royal Bourbon Musketeers could one-shot kill a villager with no greatcoats. Like that. But you will need 4 now to kill a villager. So it's still oppressive. It's still strong. And it's only 25%, which I'm a bit surprised about. But I suppose if it's 50%, then there is no bonus. So I guess it makes sense there. But it's very strong. Watch out. Somalis nerfed. The skirmisher damage is nerfed, but the multiplier is greatly improved. The Musketeer Somali speed reduced, multipliers versus cavalry reduced, train time increased. The Somali very strong recently, very strong. Others are over here, not too interesting. Black Riders again actually have a melee damage, but you stay in pistol range for most of those. Bosniaks decreased the hit point damage promotion 10% to level 2 and 15% to level 3. I think to level 1 is 10% as well. So it's a little at least the gold rank Bosniaks, I call them the sergeants, are less strong. And to be fair, it does take the mick a little bit with like combat stat units after killing like 3 strats. It's kind of pointless. Amazons 3-2. Amazon's very strong unit, so it might seem late game. Giant Grenadiers 2-3 population, so our treaty friends might not be as happy with that one as well. Canary Guard, here's a big one as well. HP increased to 390. These guys do a 40% range resist, and previously they had the same effective ranged HP as Black Riders, which had no range multiplier defense, just high HP. So actually putting the Canary Guard be a little bit of a better Dragoon unit versus Skirm Goon competition, so might be worth using them again, because previously they just never felt good compared to Manchu, Black Rider. Zanetta Riders, yeah, Canary Guards were definitely at the bottom of that list. Little Bombard, a little bit better. I've only realised Little Bombard's fired twice as fast as the Great Bombard, I think. So, yeah, good units to play around with. Yojimbo nerfed. It did not need nerfing. And Zanetta Rider population increased to 3 from 2. It was too good. I don't think it's a 3 population unit. I'd rather see that change in other ways. When you change in units from 2 to 3 pop, it can significantly limit what you can field. Technologies, minor changes to a lot of economic upgrades. Managed politics here, the cheaper AGF House of Wettin. It gives you less benefit and costs more. I think it kills the card in 1v1. I don't really see an opportunity where you can't get it in before going to the second age. If you get it in the second age, go to the third, you're not actually making a profit. It slows you down. To the 4th and 5th, yeah, it's really good, but not that amazing. Golden Reuter down to 15 seconds from 60. This is giving you all your cavalry plus 20% armor, all types of armor as well. So it's an incredible big button. It takes a long time to get going, but worth it. Paper cartridge and pillage. The advanced arsenal technologies, cheaper. Pardon me. There's a Somali tech which increased your range distance for all infantry by 10% now down to 5. But yeah, 10% increase is just way too good. It was one of the strongest native techs are going. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the advanced cars now send their respective wagons. So an advanced estate does actually send an estate wagon. That's 600 wood. Yeah, that's not a bad thing to have in the German deck. If you ever get trapped with any gold mines, advanced estates, it's not a terrible card. Market now sends a market wagon, but I don't really see most of these being used behind this. Advanced scouts, obviously linking back to that native scout change earlier, interesting. Blood Brothers increases the build limit in HP in the embassies. Blood Brothers is the card that researches all the guard upgrades for you in all native posts as well. So you know it's a strong card its own. Did it need the build limit native embassies? Not really, but you can kind of see if you spam native embassies all around the map, you can actually cause a really big issue. Like you spawn units in different places. Heavy fortifications, research time increased, but they haven't changed the actual premise of the card. I think a lot of people are annoyed by that, but I do like my heavy fortifications. I think it's a balanced card. Grenadiers, you can get if you send the 5 Grenadier card now, you can show them the barracks. I think that'd be a British card. That might be a Ottoman card as well. Aztecs getting stuffed once again. Jaguar Power Knights benefit from combat productions, but Warrior Priest spawn time down, Arrow Knight attack down versus. I think this is saying that all skirmisher units are now back up to 0.8 versus heavy cavalry, but the Arrow Knight will stay at 0.6, which I think's fair enough. Kind of, yes. I think it's fine. It doesn't really matter. You have Eagle Round Knights for that, so not really an issue. But Warrior Priest is a bit of an oops there. 5 Vills added back to the home. I swear, Aztecs always had that. Cal Macaque no longer ships a Warrior Priest. Great change. I mean, Cal Macaque is one of the greatest cards of the game when it shipped a Warrior Priest as well. Knights Combat moved to age 4. Whoa! Combat for your Arrow Knights, Jaguar Knights, Eagle Runner Knights, and maybe Skull Knights moved to the 4th age. That's incredible. That's a huge balance change. And I'm just worried that like Aztecs are now being forced back into age 2 play because age 3 play is just getting hurt after recent patches where they've been very, very strong. British, the 3 settlers are back in the 1st age. Calm down, guys. It's back. The Brits are back, but they have removed 5 settlers here. As you can see, 5 settlers removed from home city. They're just trying to reduce the scaling of the villages and how fast. But I was one of those people. I thought the 3 villagers being removed in age 1 was a positive change for Brits. They age up. They age up one of the fastest civs in the game with the strongest economy to the 2nd age, and then it can boom from there. But I hear the arguments that a load of other civs have much more cheesier things. So 3 sets coming back in, and I'm sure British will get monitored in terms of their performance. But you can never go wrong with villagers, musketeers, hussars, and high hunt maps. So pretty good. A new technology. Researchers guard pikes now sent in the 4th age and allows Imperial pikes for a cheap cost. I mean that was in the 3rd age and caused some balance concerns there. Renaming, nothing too much. Red coats, unique musketeer upgrade improves HP by 35% from 40. But damage increase from 40. So a little bit less HP, more damage. I don't like you split on your stats. They need to be standardized. You need to know what a guard musket strength is. You need to know what a royal guard musket is. Transcendence, okay, huge change. Damage cap of 100 HP per units. I think some people forget how Transcendence works. It heals over a time of about 0.5 seconds. I think the total healing here now was 100, but previously it was continuous healing for 0.5, which effectively healed units to full. I think what it was, or continuous fast healing, but it was way too strong. I get it, but still actually might be used. The 3 villagers from the Transcendence Wander is better than 300 food for your tempo, and do you prioritize your healing ability or your summer pass production? China Fury may change. Double face armor Keshiks. Okay, repellent volley now has been reverted back. Wow, increases arquebus Chukna multiply against light cavalry by 1.25. What are you doing? No. Because now that the cavalry multiplier is back to 0.8, they're going to be tearing down Dragoon. Oh, that's a bad change. Okay, they reduced damage, Keshet HP, village HP down, Russian consulate, expeditionary forces. Russian consulate now sends 5 goons instead of 6 Cossacks. That is the 400 exports technology. So you can get 5 colonial dragoons in the second age when going with Russia, which actually is tempting. You know, I'm not gonna lie, that's a tempting thing because you can certainly go like if you go into the third age, you can have some 5 dragoons mixing with meteor hammers. That's not a bad shout. Okay, Dutch, not interesting. 1,000 coins send 14 musket blue guards and enables in the forts. I think that might be a bit overpriced. It can be useful to defend if you've got a lot of spare coin in the transition, so it can take like a mercenary position in your deck, but I don't think it would be huge. Vardgedders is the religious freedom. Is this okay? Maybe we've got a different deck, but do see you can get some Swiss pikes in the second age with Dutch this time. Ethiopians, nothing too much. Cannoneers down, Somali Ali is down. You can see the theme of the Somalis getting nerfed, the Cannoneers getting nerfed. Technologies, Sunnis Alliance down, Somali Alliance age up down, Nef 10-year attack down, Chateau Warrior damage multiplier changed from infantry to light infantry. Finally, they were the equivalent of Spanish Lancers and Coyotes having a baby, or Spanish Lancers and Chimis having a baby. They're now Naginata Riders and Chimis having a baby. So only benefits versus skirmish units like the Archer, crossbows, Castadors, skirmishers, anything like that. Rassier a bit better. Native Scout can make native MC and a town center. Oh, interesting. Oh no, retrain from town center and build native MCs. Fine. Sand slots only counts heavy infantry now instead of all infantry. Good change. They act as like a musketeer unit, so they shouldn't be able to counter skirmishers. Some French changes. I'm sure line will be very impressive to see. Young Guards now enables Grenadier training in the barracks, and I think that ties off a bit of a problem French had. I know that their revolt had ideas of having upgrades in your Grenadiers, but you couldn't actually train any Grenadiers. So this kind of rounds off the circle, rounds off the square, smooths the circle, whatever you want to say it. And I think French being able to train Grenadiers is historically accurate and actually fits. So, and that's from. But oh, hang on a minute. So, if you send the Young Guard, I think Young Guards in Age 2 are veteran Grenadiers. So I don't know if the Grenadiers you train in Age 2 will be of veteran status or colonial status. It might be the Young Guard is your select Grenadiers you get from the thing, and then you can just train regular Grenadiers behind from the barracks. We'll have to find that one out when it comes out, but I assume later if you can train vet Grenadiers Age 2, we're in trouble. Germans, a lot of people were kind of betting that Germany will be the new stronger civ. So come on, this card costs 625 in the treat game mode if the Blood Brothers card has also been sent. Oh wow. Okay. that's a bit much in the treaty game mode. I think that's just units, that is. But like spend a card on units is just not really that useful in treaty anywhere. I get it. Habsburg's changed. I don't know why the native 9 Habsburg allies goes up to 11, but no longer researches vet Habsburgs. I hope that doesn't apply to the Dutch change because that's quite big, but fair enough. To be fair, it makes sense because no other Age 3 native card usually upgrades it. I think the Carib blowguns actually upgrades, but I'll have to check my knowledge on that one. Winged Hussars up, Zwaarhanders, melee range up, Needle Gunners. Okay, so this is when each individual Age 4 Royal Guardian upgrades changes, but everyone's a bit worried about the Needle Gunners, but then again, looks like the rate of fire is improved to 2.75. It was going to be to 2.5, like semi-automatic skirmisher fire, and now increase so HP down to plus 30%. Oh, yeah. It's a trade. Honestly, it makes no difference. I don't know why. Things like this just should not not should not happen, and range resistance by 5% for Zap Catalans. That's terrifying. It honestly is terrifying, and they might want to relook at that, because that could be atrocious balance. That is, oh, I don't want to. Plus 40% combat and 5% HP range resist from like 20 to 25. You can just Dragoon armies just get melted. Oh well. Haunashone, 8 ANs increased to 9, 11 increased to 20 ANs in the 4th age. Wow, that is in line with the British Longbow card as well, so it's not too out the thing. Frost Prize up to 13, yeah, it makes sense. It just kind of smoothing out some of the real problems here. Trees last longer. I can't really see anything here which makes me cringe as much as other changes, so pretty good. Oh, the minimum rate of fire mechanic removed. Finally, I know that I have made a bit of fuss on recent streams and videos. I think the devs have listened. I think the devs realising that having an ANA which could theoretically fire at a one rate of fire, which is about it's any time. Okay, so originally an ANA would take, in time it takes an ANA to take 2 shots. A new ANA would take 3 shots. Now you can obviously understand the balance implications after the unit is upgraded with cards and technologies, boosted by your War Chief, and then scaled on the Fire Pit for War Dance, and then you scale it by the rate of. You can see how the damage just explodes, and that was a significant balance concern which has been addressed. I'm very thankful for that. House, a lot of people have been playing this recently, so Berber age up, influence down, influence down. You can see just influence age ups are down. Always way too good, some of these age ups. I think House have an age up where you have a barracks and 300 gold. It's just insane, too good. Not really much else I can really see here too much. Nope, can't see anything worth it. Chaskis now have bonuses versus mercenaries, makes sense. Chimu's a little bit down versus artillery, they're very good. Rockers, ooh, getting nerfed. The increase in okay, so damage up, but multipliers versus artillery is down. I'm a bit concerned because Hirakas actually are pretty good, especially with supporting units and buildings. Got to look out for that. Inca sometimes is a civ that's a bit slept on, I would say. It's not a civ I enjoy playing or I ever played actually, but I think it's fine. Like you can see that like the changes here are relatively low impact. I don't really see too much of a real kind of scare here. Champion legendary Hirakas add 1 attack range each. The thing is, age 5 Hirakas are not the problem. It's age 3 Hirakas. So you know the late game scaling here I don't actually mind, and probably competes with heavier artillery like heavy cannons, so I'm fine with that. The Catch a Big Button reduced by 50 resources. I believe that's the 4 villager card. It was priced at about 900 resources, like 300 each, so it's very expensive. So taking that down a little bit to about 750 probably brings it in line. It's a bonus. The whole idea of having 4 vills behind a big button was always just a dumb idea from the start. I think it used to be like 180 each and was available in the first age, so everyone just got 4 vills in age 1, and people were like, oh, this might be a bit of a balance concern. Indians, shipment rate. Shipment curve penalty up to 10%. I know Indians are strong at the moment, but that is a bad change. That is way too much. It's only just a plus a village. I know it's just a plus a villager, but their vills cost villagers as well. Like that's not the issue. 7 is that reduced to 6. Good. I mean, actually having the Ottoman concert is way too strong anyway. Now in Dravidian martial arts now improves Rajput melee by 20% instead of down from 30. So that was Rajputs getting 15 and all melee units getting plus 15. So Rajputs were double buffed. Makes sense. Gurkha Mamsudar, minor probably correcting changes. Looks like, but no real changes there to India. Apart from what we've seen already. So I think devs just happy with where they are, and they will continue to be a very strong civilization. There's nothing really to say much for change apart from the shipment rate, which obviously will hurt them as the game goes on. I mean, that's quite large actually, a change. I would encourage people, if you have a livestock map with livestock, build a Sacred Pen. Very, very good. if you have 8 cows or 8 yaks, it's like getting free 2 plus 2 plus 2.5 train posts. It's worth doing. Italians, thank God for this. Thankfully, they've actually changed this. Times were broken beyond belief. So essentially, boil it down, all your what is it? What are they called? Those trickle buildings. You know what I mean? It'll come back to me. Those buildings come Lombards. The amount of resources deposited is down, which is good. Well, that's not really the issue. Okay, so having more than just a resource crate is actually quite nice. You don't have to put Garrett at your villages. I can understand. Fine, lovely. Problem was the amount of XP that it generated. And Uvitsi finally has got nerfed from 0.5 XP to 0.2. So that means if you have 5 Lombards built and they're gathering resources, that is 1 trading post worth of experience points. You have the Basilica, which is 1 XP per second, which is 1 trading post worth of experience points. So you can see how Italy have gone from in-base 3.5 trading posts now down to 2. That is a significant balance improvement, as in a nerf to the Civ, because it was beyond broken. Just insane because of how you had in-base res, in-base XP, you had the tempo even just by sitting still on the map, which I think is some civs have it. It's not a problem to have civs which have that bonuses, but when it's unchecked and a bit exploitable, that's when the problems arise. Especially with the free endless buildings, you can just endlessly turtle your base, and you can see where that leads to. That's basically the most important point. I think the Pavitsiers having the guard upgrade and also having to change a few technologies around to make that fix. But the main one is the Lombard changes. Papal Guard reduced down by quite a bit after using the Advanced Politicians card. The Papal Guard Politician isn't the problem, it's the Advanced Politicians card is the problem. So they've failed to address the real balance concern. Yes, because getting Guardians on the 4th age up is strong, but Malta have that with the 5 Order Goons. Ottoman have that with the 3 Spahis. A load of Civs have Guardians on the 4th age up, so it's not the guard, it's just the amount of them was quite nice, but it's how they are basically the perfect units to protect artillery. So that's the 2 Coal shipment, the 2 Bombard shipment, where they got not little Bombards, the other ones, Papal Guard Bombards, Spring Guards as well. Covering also increases range resistance by 5%. That doesn't really matter too much because it does actually. It's that's 75% range resistance to 80% range resistance. Oh my god. Oh, it might be 50% range resistance actually, but Culverins with their high HP are incredible tanks of skirmishers. They're even worth just to not even fire, just to absorb skirmisher fire. Minor other changes behind here. Don't actually know what these are, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Don't. Probably unit upgrade cards. Architects can no longer build outposts and walls by default, so they've actually just abandoned that. They've realised what the issue. You see, I don't know how I feel about that, because an architect, it can build any buildings, and if you should have the ability to say, oh, I want to build an outpost, or I want to build this, but if it gets nerfed makes sense. I think the problem is how architects can pile on one building. They each build it and makes it faster in a non-linear sense, or it should be non-linear, but actually they pile on it and makes it linear faster. So interesting choice, but that's a bold call. And to be fair, less turtley play, happier players in general. I know that GG Revnak will be very upset, but Revnak will just move on to the next main civ. It's just his way of playing. Burger is down a little bit versus Cavalry. People Suaves can deflect. This is HP down a little bit. Base 115. Let's go. Okay, Shinobi no Monos. That is your Archer one. Remove negative damage multipliers against heavy cavalry. It's a neutral unit now. It's not. Don't think of it as Archer. It's a neutral unit. Post combat, reverting, change back to 15%. Good change, and no reason to change that. Axe Riders now do 0.75 back against Dragoons. Having 0.5 versus Goons is silly. The 7 Council Fires decreased the amount of units to 7 from 21, but costs cheaper. But I think also researches your guard upgrades as well, so mixture there. Dog soldiers, 200 food saved on your big button. Woohoo! Big change, big whoop. It needs to be back down to 1500. It's 2k is too hard to save up for. It's 1800 food. It's still too much to save up for like a timing at like a 15-minute, 18-minute. It's maybe with like the food trickles, the TPs actually the food can come by a little bit easier. But it's just minor changes for minor change sakes. That is just random. I think that's a special like one-off treasure guardian hero. Civilization bonus HP increase for 1% for ships and artillery. That's including the fixed gun. 2% for everything else is fine. I'm surprised they've actually added a cost to the flagship card because I thought that was like a special one for the Italians and Maltese. War guns not really used to not really of use in 1v1. It can be if radius increases to 16, but you need a lot of wars to make a significant impact. And Senate Cannon as well is not actually much. Flamethrowers now sends an artillery foundry. That's the age 2 card. A lot of players have been trying that in the part. And H3 7 fire throws up to 8. I think that's risky because 8 and 9 fire throws are very strong. Like the 7 Reuter, 9 Reuter. The Dutch 9 Reuter is very strong. 7 Reuters are there if you need it, but it's not really you want to be sending that. But 8 fire throws is pretty good. Depot, boo, changes to the depot. A little bit more increase, and the build time is up as well. So you kind of have to be really thoughtful where you place them instead of just spamming that, which I guess is better. And blast rate decrease, I'm with that. It has been a bit silly, like how far you can just do some. If you do some damage to an army, it's already worth it. Okay, fixed gun no longer affected by Maltese HP bonus, so you need to recalculate your Falconet Culverin trades. Population is down, but range is down. So Culverin's now, although they say they have the same range, but Culverin's by a couple of pixels outrange a fixed gun. But the minimum distance to enemy TCs reverts, so you can go back to mid map with them. It's just interesting. Some of these things are very minute and gets changed, but it's okay. Arbalesters, strength down, research a bit faster, but yeah, I think it's just late game. I think they realised that Bowpike is just a bit too good. Must be nearly there in terms of the civs. Advanced Frontier Defences, Central America Revolution now costing would send, yeah, 3 fortified outposts for free as a card in the Revolution. Too good. Way too good. Always has been too good. For people who say it's not been too good, you are just chatting utter BS. I'm trying to think of the most appropriate word there for it, but it's not quite there. I'm trying to find something here which I really have an opinion on, and I don't think I have one. Old 300 Texas Revolution now shoots up to 24 citizens of 85. I think that's a citizen for every building. I think it's what it is. It can't, basically, this is a change to protect like crazy things, but still gives you like the big bang for your buck which you need as you justify it. So it's kind of edging out those like 5% cases. The Vigilantes upgrade makes the unit a little bit cheaper and increased range. Okay, late game Assault Horse is pretty good buff, but during cases in treaty balance, the Vigilantes actually are very, very good. Hacienda line sight down, it gets important. The line sight is way too good, but looks like there's no changes to Hacienda in general. Still get the wagon, age 1, still send it forward, racks. Insurgents by the batch. Food increased by 5, okay, that's quite a bit. And okay, and the siege has been nerfed as well, so they instead of doing 24 attack over 2 siege cycles, they do 20 attack over 1 siege cycle, so that's been a little bit reduced. So actually early game pressure with insurgents a little bit less scary now. Obviously it's still TC one shots them and they cost more food, so you've got to kind of think about it. Ottomans, Abus guns, multiplier versus Dragoons down a little bit. Okay, that's quite useful. I think they were doing pretty good versus Dragoons. Line of sight, okay, AZAP. Damage increase base. Okay, finally Ottoman Minutemen have a multiplier. So in the previous patch notes, this was at 0.75, 0.75 versus villagers, and the devs are like, oh, this gives flavour to the Ottomans, this gives extra characteristics and salutes to history. All of us were like, No, no. Minutemen are the same, and if you give one Civ 0.5 versus you will give the Ottomans zero point 0.5 versus of it. I actually think yeah, it's regular civs are 0.25 versus villagers. Yeah, Minutemen do not kill villagers these days, so even that, count yourself lucky, I guess. Some grenadier changes, minor. Spahi, the hidden cost has changed to 400 from 280 food, makes sense. Right, adjusted accordingly. So you get more XP. So it's 40 XP per kill instead of 28. Makes them more reward than the Crassia. It doesn't say anything about changing the amount of Spahis per cards or anything else behind that. So unsure. Age 1 minute system. That's a nice change actually, because getting your first villager training card if you find like a little cheap wood treasure helps your game so much. Very nice. Imam makes the age up the same, 800 food, but he says 100 gold. I think it's 100 gold and one Imam, or 100 gold Mosque Wagon Imam, something like that. And yeah, it looks like the palace intrigue is getting massively changed after recent opportune games by Karim and being banned in the ESOC tournaments. It makes sense. Basically, these technologies are assuming you'll get like a card worth of value with each technology research, but that's not the case. The card gives you access to the technologies, and the technologies should be balanced and scalable. And they're so high impact. They're not making them weaker; they just cost them more. So, 2,500. It's not even a round number. It's not even a round number. Why would you do that? Okay, 2,500 food for the Spahi, I believe. For the. It might be the Spahi. I don't think it's the Bombards. I think it's the Spahi one. And the Top Grid Core. That's the Great Bombards, that is. 1,500 food to 1,750 coin. That's a huge change, actually. And the Nizams are a little bit cheaper. 2.5k wood's also very expensive, but you also got them on the cheaper thing. So overall, positive changes across the board there for the Ottomans, I think. Portuguese looking pretty good. To be fair, not much needs to get changed with them, as you can see. I think the Order of Tower and Sword from the Advanced Church is getting a little bit of a rework. Black Riders, HP, 15% combat, and you can then build them in the tavern. So I think they're trying to go for a bit of like the Guard Crossbows and Black Rider competition. But I mean that works. Strelets. Last site, we got the Musketeer and Halberdier rework. Halberdiers now going to be available in Age 2. The developer note, they've actually added the developer note here just to emphasize a point. These units always had lower combat values than other Musketeers and Halberdiers. In an effort to make these unique values more visible, these units are now unique units. I get that. To be honest, I get that, and it will help lower rated players better evaluate what it means to see 30 veteran Musketeers turn up your base and you go, actually, I think I can take that. It's a short answer. Boyars no longer affects Strelets, but affects Cav Archers. I think Boyars now is a Cav one, and there's a whole infantry one. So new order regiments improves Strelet, Musketeer, and Halberdier combat by 10%. That's like the Haudenosaunee infantry combat card. That's very strong. We are in the territory of risking, but Russia has no reason to age up to the third age if they have basically access to everything. And this card here enables Cav Archers to be trained in the Commerce Age. It does cost wood instead of coins, so I think that's the balance in there. Because Cav Archers, even if they're only age 2 and you send a card to send it, if you're late game enough, the whole scaling idea of Russia means that you just keep trading, and if you have the right unit composition, you can just keep pinning your opponent down, and you eventually win. So, wow. 25% combat down to 15 for the Musketeers. This is an important card. 25% combat for a unit, even if they're cheap Musketeers, way too strong. But a couple other little cards. It looks like it's transformation cards. So the muskets into Northern Guard Musketeers. Is this actually into Guard Musketeers, or is it Northern Guard as the name of the native Musketeer? I can't quite remember. I think it is Guard Northern Musketeers. I think the Northern Musketeers is the unit in the Guard. But to turn it into a unit which then says cost in population, it's just a weird way of doing it. A weird way. cost increase from westernization. I'm sure the age one is a little bit cheap. Oh, well, it's not cheap. It's more expensive actually, but it's split over wood and gold. So you're not really. You still get a huge bang for your buck, but it's really hard to get into that now. And Bashkir ponies now 23 Shirvani like infantry instead of 17 Guard Hussars. That's a shame because the Guard Hussars was a really nice unit to have in the Russian army to bounce off the Strelets, Cav Archers, Musketeers. Not many players had full upgraded Cossacks, so it's a shame that's happened. Spanish Gold. This road to Spain now costs 200 wood to send. Hey, finally listens to me. Yeah, it's a 2,400 wood buildings. If the German player sent it and wanted to build 4 estates, it's a very strong card. The halberdiers on the advanced church grants halberdier H point regeneration and promotion. Oh dear God, Piroshiki going crazy. Wild geese moves to H3, costs 1,500 food. Now ships Irish Brigadiers instead of the 10 Harkebusiers. Now Irish Brigadiers not the strongest unit anyway. I'm a bit confused by this, but it's also we have potential now that the Church FF, you can research halberdiers and Irish Brigadiers to back up a falconet push. I am whoop 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 whoop. Balance concern, whoop balance concern, whoop. Not a fan of that. I do not see a reason, a need, a motive. I don't know. I'm very, very cautious on that one. I'm not a fan of that. Willing cards, 14 Fusiliers to 3,000 gold. That'd be quite funny. Just need to see what goes these first. I mean, for that cost, it's not really much a concern. Sweet Carolines, more expensive by 5 foods. Negative melee multiplier towards riflemen change to include all. Okay, that's includes archers as well. Leather can no longer tags gunpowder troopers. I guess that's for upgrade purposes. Reduction of damage versus cavalry, minor things. Hackplate now a little bit cheaper and just a little bit of buffing, just tweaking it because I think really not many people using that unit again. Late games, build limit. Sweet villager up a bit for eco. Torp build time increased to 19. So Sweden muskets are nerfed and the torps are nerfed. Sweden is nerfed and Sheikh will be crying. Oh wow, just realized we're up to 50 minutes onto this record. I think we're pretty much. I say that, but it's like 22 odd civs to balance these days. United States, German immigrants, the settler wagons now trample from the commerce age. I think they changed it instead of it has to be a mill wagon. I think the idea is it turns into like a Maltese German tongue, which is when you mix it with Hamiltonian economics, there's potential for a big boom here from the United States and the age 2 upgrades with like the Pennsylvania, I think it is, with the church meeting house, the creeds, the native TPs. There's a lot of scaling here for United States potential. I think USA were fine as it is. I mean, they're very strong as they are currently already very strong. There's still a lot to work out with them, and a lot of cow hunters. Not really too much I can see here, which I really want to comment on. I think it's just minor, revolutions. No longer increase the bullet +2 for Brazil and Haiti. I know that Lionheart's very happy about the Canada changes. Just a bit more musketeers. There's a grizzly bear. Grizzly bear now costs population, but I think it was like the infinite CDB shipments are potentially very good. Couple other cards that's like Canadian militia officer improves villager, native warriors, and militiamen in combat. So I think that's where the late game firepower can come from. Villagers can still probably fight in that. So obviously they're still CDBs. I think they're CDBs. Might be reduced a little bit. But you still have the pioneers, you have nuke cut upgrades, you have native combat, everything, loads. So, other things. 2 conference have a cost. Central America Infinite 4 settlers is removed. Okay, good changes there. Egypt, more Stradiots. There's nothing really here I really want to comment about these, because these revolts, they don't often happen. Hungary, I think, is probably one that you can get. Is it a hussar from each of the towers? But I don't really see much of that there. Indonesia, 2 ironclad infinite. I think it was just a single 2 ironclad there from Indonesia. So 2 infinite ironclads is a big one. And the actual Mexico revolution from Spain is a interesting one. I think they still kind of go on for this like kind of Charos, Colorado, Lance, heavy cavalry idea, but yeah, it's not great. South Africa actually grants 200 population by default. Oh, that could be. If you've got 100 pop, that could be a 3,000 wood there. Instead of shipping 3 trek wagons, now all houses turn into trek wagons. That's a lot of HP tanks. It's silly. It's so silly, that is. I've got to do a video on that. It's so silly, but I mean, the damage output from trek wagons is minimal. It's not that thing. Replaces your light cavalry units in the stable with fully replaces your light cavalry units in the stable with Imperial war wagons. Costs 400 wood to set. Imperial war? No. Oh, I got to check that out. That seems broken. And that's how we're going to end it. Wow, we found out that the Dutch are going to be the new top tier civ with Imperial war wagons in the 5th age. But guys, you can see how much balance has gone into this patch, and a lot of individual kind of civ changes. And I've tried to go through as quick as possible, stopped off a few tour points, but what a journey we've been from. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you taken a couple of notes. I think I want to say once again, congratulations here for the online status for friends for the game. Super important. Devs, why was this not done earlier? I think we're going to see a positive player-based growth out as well, and we're going to see some cracking content in this patch. Anytime patches come out, players are playing the games are getting played, recordings are available, castings are made, show matches, content, you name it, it's all coming in. And actually, I think I might actually do another video on recent state of show matches in Age of Empires 3, because it's an interesting topic to talk about. But that's another time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. I may do a tier list video once the tier lists get a bit more established, because we all love that content, don't we? And we actually love it when from people who know what we're talking about. Me. Cough, Widgie and Lion. Nah, they're good lads. They're good lads. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great afternoon, evening, morning, night, day, whatever. I'll see you back here for some more content of Age of Empires 3. See you later, guys.